Hi, everybody. It's Helen McConnell here from helenmcconnell.com, and welcome to our weekly Tapping for Courage cards session. I'm so glad you're here. So, what we do each week is I take a courage card, and all the details for if you want to get your own deck are in the description below. And I'll read the card, I'll give you my insights about that card, and then we'll do some tapping about the insights or the card or whatever comes up. I don't plan the tapping in advance. I just go by feel. So today's courage card is lead by example. And here's what it says. Lead by example. Live your values rather than preaching them. Ooh, I like that already. Live your values rather than preaching them. If you want to inspire change, embody what you believe. Stand by your convictions, even when it is difficult. Love is the strongest, bravest force in any endeavor. It may go unnoticed, but it always shapes the world around you. Lead with love and let your presence create the change that words alone cannot usher. Love is also the most powerful force in the universe. Love is the power that created the universe, the energy, the force. So love is the example we want to lead by. And I'm going to say here that as I was reading that, I was thinking, okay, so when we lead with love, does that mean we're fearless? No, but it generally requires courage to lead with love. It takes practice, it takes conviction and commitment. And I'm going to encourage you to begin to practice it. Because if we don't practice leading with love in the little smaller events of our life, how are we going to practice it when the bigger events happen? It has to be our first reaction, has to be our go-to. All right, so I want you to think about leading with love, leading by example, by leading with love, and just notice what comes up for you. A lot of times, I'm not saying this for everybody, but a lot of times we go, oh, that feels a little scary. How can I lead with love and courage in these tumultuous times? How do I lead with love? When we lead with love, it doesn't necessarily mean we have to go out and be anti anything to be pro love. I think it's important to feel the love in our heart, in our soul, and let the energy of that just spread out around us. Okay. We're not trying to make anybody do anything, not trying to force anybody, but lead with love. And I want you to start thinking about situations or events or things that make you uncomfortable and see if you can invite in examples. The universe can show you examples or give you examples of how to lead with love. So, again, I encourage you to start right here. Are you loving yourself? That's the best place to start. Next, are you loving your family, those you live with? Next, are you loving the people you work with or your community, your neighbors? Are you leading with love? And then beyond that, are you leading with love with people you don't even know? Like when you're driving your car, are you leading with love or are you just driving around angry? And I just think this is so important because most of us weren't taught to lead with love or lead by example, right? We have to show other people how to lead with love. Even if they don't return that example, we need to show it. We need to be the example. All right. So when you think about leading with love, let's start with ourselves, okay? I want you to ask yourself, has there been a time recently, today or yesterday or the day before, where you weren't very nice to yourself in thought, word, or deed? Okay. And just notice that and notice how you feel when you think about, just say it out loud in your own words. If you can say it, say, on Saturday, I had this experience and I wasn't very nice to myself. I kind of beat myself up, or I totally beat myself up, or I shamed myself, or degraded myself. I abandoned myself. All right. And just notice how that feels. Kind of sad, isn't it? It's really heartbreaking. And so let's just see if we can tap for that so that we can get free of that, so we can begin to lead with love toward ourselves. Lead by example. Treat yourself as you would like others to treat you. All right, let's just start tapping. Even though, you repeat that. There have been some times lately when I wasn't very nice to myself in thought, word, or deed. And as I go forward, I'm willing to love and accept myself. Okay. So that's one setup statement. Let's do another one. Even though sometimes I'm really hard on myself, and it's not an example of how I'd like others to treat me, but I'm willing to love and accept myself and to stop abandoning myself. Okay, and then one more. Even though I really haven't been leading by example when it comes to how to treat me, I love and accept myself. Okay, now we're going to tap around the points, just tap along, repeat the phrases, and you can follow along the points that I'm going to show you. Okay, start at the top of the head and say, hey, I'm not always nice to myself. On the eyebrow. And that's not how I want others to treat me. Side of the eye. I'm not always nice to myself. Under the eye. And I want others to be nice to me. Under the nose. I don't always respect myself. On the chin. But I want other people to respect me. Collarbone. I'm not always nice to myself. Under the arm. And I wonder why I feel bad. Okay, go to the top of the head and say, I learned this behavior on the eyebrow a long, long time ago. Side of the eye. I didn't like it when I experienced it. Under the eye. I didn't like it when I witnessed it. Under the nose. And now I still do it. On the chin. This hasn't really been serving me lately. Collarbone. And I'm ready to start loving myself. Under the arm. I'm ready to start leading by example. Top of the head. I'm ready to start showing others on the eyebrow how I want to be treated. Side of the eye. I want to be treated with love and respect. Under the eye. But I haven't been treating myself with love and respect. Under the nose. I want to be treated with compassion. On the chin. But I haven't been treating myself with compassion. Collarbone. I want to be treated with enjoyment. Under the arm. But I haven't been enjoying myself. Top of the head. And I'm ready to stop abandoning myself. On the eyebrow. I'm ready to start leading by example. Side of the eye. Showing others how to treat me. Under the eye. By the example I set for myself. Under the nose. I'm ready to stop abandoning myself. On the chin. And I'm ready to start leading by example. Collarbone. Leading by example. Under the arm. Loving myself by example. All right, now just take a nice deep breath there and exhale. And while you're sitting here, I want you to take just a moment and notice. Did you notice anything while we were tapping? Anything at all? Whether it was related to this or something else that you thought, oh yeah, I see where I don't lead by example in any situation. If you do, jot it down real quick because you might forget. I want you to begin to notice where you're not leading by example. And a lot of times the lead by example means, what am I thinking in my head? Am I judging others in my head even? I don't have to say it out loud to be judgmental. Am I resisting accepting other people in my head? And if that's the case, I invite you to consider that it's time for a change. And it's not always easy to do it on your own, but if you use tapping, and you keep practicing and just keep loving yourself. When you make a mistake and you don't do it the way you wish you would, or wish you had, you can stop and forgive yourself, okay? You can say, I'm so sorry, Helen. Please forgive me, Helen. Thank you for forgiving me, Helen. I love you, Helen. And obviously, you'll use your own name, okay? This is a lifelong process of learning to love yourself by example because we have so many messages that were put into our nervous system at such an early age. I don't know anybody who was loved unconditionally, truly, in a really loving and healthy way. So don't expect yourself to be perfect at this, but the idea is to sort of lean in that direction of loving yourself by example rather than leaning in the direction of beating yourself up by example. Okay, I hope you found this helpful. Thanks for joining us today, and I will see you again next Thursday. And in the meantime, subscribe to the channel and you'll get notified every time I put up a new video for a courage card. And again, the deck of courage cards is available for purchase. You can look in the description below and see how to do that. All right. Thanks for watching. See you soon.